Is buy-to-let dead? Mortgage rates are up. Is it killing cash flow? Anti-landlord sentiment is up. Do Labour hate landlords? And finally, are all landlords selling up? Let's find out.
Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Jess.
We're forthelandlords.com.
And if you're a landlord, or you want to be, we help landlords start, scale and optimise a profitable property portfolio. We help landlords get more money, all the time back, less hassle.
Let's get into it. Okay, so topic for today is buy to let dead. Let's start off with, are mortgage rates killing cash flow?
I don't think so. No. There's definitely some challenges, but killing cash flow, that's too strong a word.
A lot of people say it is.
I think it will be for some landlords. Wrong house, wrong area, over leveraged, just come off the end of a product that, mortgage product that they can't find a suitable replacement for.
Okay.
Yeah, you might be in trouble if you bought the wrong house in the wrong area.
I suppose there is that. I think maybe you might find the cash flow is killing your portfolio if you've leveraged it up really highly. If you've owned the house for 15, 20 years and you've been refinancing consistently over that time and now you've got a huge mortgage and it's a big monthly payment and the rent hasn't maybe gone up as much in that area in relation to the value, you might find it is.
But the rent going up. Can I tell you my experience?
Go on.
So put it in context, the kind of houses that I've been buying now for the last 20, 25 years, they're all very similar. I do own some HMOs, some commercial property, but the majority of my own personal portfolio is 2 and 3 bed family houses. I bought them in multiple different locations over that period of time. We've generally speaking paid between 50 and 150,000 pounds for them, and they're worth anywhere between 120 to 250, 300,000 pounds. I'll tell you that so you can kind of figure out. I'm going to give you exact mortgages and rents in a minute, so you can see where I'm at. You can divide that by 2, times it by 10, depending where you are in the country. 4 or 5 years ago, of course, we had a 350-year low.
Don't expect it to
so
come back
whatever we've seen a raise. Of course, we've seen a raise. 2 years ago, interest rates were high and product rates, because that's really what we're talking about. Interest rates, the margin of bank charges is sometimes more or less, but product rates are what we're talking about. Interest rates were high and product rates were higher. Now we're on a steady decrease of interest rates, and we can only see that coming down. That's that backdrop for the next 2, 3, 4 years is steadily decreasing. Margins on banks are coming down. The product rate is coming down. So that's good news. So if cash flow is in trouble now, it's only going to be better. Personally, I have come off the end of 2 and 3 year rates. So I had a mortgage rate, 2 and 3 years, some of them were 5 years, and they've come off in the middle of that turbulence, and that will definitely feel like it hurts some landlords. It did me. And now we can get back onto a rate which I'm happy with. It is higher than I was on 4 years ago, because that was a 350-year low.
But if your rents are at the right level, it's not killing your cash flow.
That's the point I'm coming on to.
Yeah,
absolutely. If you, right now, give you real world examples, my mortgages 3 years ago might have been £150 or less per month. And now, well, they're nearly £300 a month. That's a massive jump. But my rents have gone up by £200 or £300 per property per month over the same period of time. My cash flow, and I've looked at it very, very carefully, is better today than it was 5 years ago, but there's definitely been a rough patch in the middle where I was off the end of some rates, and I was paying 9% on some of my mortgages that had come from 2 or 3%. I went to 9% because we came off the end, and I've now refixed them at 4%. The reason I was happy to pay the 9% for two or 3 months. You remember? Well, I did. I could have locked in a rate at 6%.
Oh, I see what you mean. Sorry, yeah.
So I come off a 3%. I was on a 9%.
Oh, you were waiting for them to drop.
I could lock in at 5, and actually now I've just locked in at 4.
Yeah.
And I waited a bit and paid a bit more. And actually, when you do the maths, I was just about right. If there'd have been another base rate decrease last month, I'd have been absolutely right. But now I was just about right.
Cool.
It's not killing cash flow.
There we are then. Okay, let's move on. Anti-landlord sentiment. Do the Labour government really hate all landlords? I don't know. Well, I don't think so.
I think there's two things at work here.
I think it's easy to say they do.
I think fundamentally the way they talk is different to a Conservative government.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to argue if you fundamentally believe that some right at the hard left, property's theft,
Oh, yeah.
capitalism doesn't work. That is a view of some of the Labour Party.
They all live in houses, though.
You can't argue with that. I don't believe in it. I believe in capitalism, and I don't believe in that. But you can't argue against that. I think what you've got to separate out is what a government says, and you've got a party with lots of people on the left, most of the people in the middle. Whether you're on the Conservatives or the government of the day tends to govern somewhere in the middle. So what gets talked about is very different to what happens.
They have put stamp duty up, though.
There's lots of things that have happened, but what I can see is we're kind of talking about red tape and taxes, two different things really, and the red tape, if you like, Renters' Rights Bill, AWAB's law, decent and safe homes, needing abolition of Section 21. The list goes on and on and on. There's now 160 pieces of legislation that a landlord, it keeps going up, 173, it depends how you count it. Lots of bits of that. Yes, the Labour government is presiding over that right now, but it's been happening for years.
Yeah.
Theresa May brought in what the previous version of the Renters' Rights Bill just didn't.
They just changed the name of it.
They just changed the name.
Yeah.
It's always been.
We've been talking about that for nearly 2 years.
It's going to Roper and all those things. It's been talked about for a decade. Expect it to keep going. The day of the landlord that just buys a couple of houses and just self-manages, it's probably over.
We're in the final.
So that's red tape, and I don't think Labour are doing anything different than a Conservative government would do. It's going to continue ratcheting up. If you get yourself organised, it's not a problem. No. Deal with it. All these things are just
cut through the noise. Don't fall for it. Yeah.
The second thing that's happening is the current government is raising taxes, and any government would have to do that. Yeah, they just would. Right now, today, you'd have to be paying a bit more tax because we've just had a really expensive coronavirus lockdown. It just needs to be paid for. Remember at the time? We've all forgotten it. It said this is the biggest thing since the Second World War. That war cost a lot of money. Coronavirus cost about the same.
True.
It needs paying back.
What I would say is not all landlords are greedy. They do look after their houses. Don't fall for all the anti-landlord sentiment in the press.
That riles me up a bit.
Yeah.
But you've got to cut through the noise. So be a landlord and be proud to be a landlord. Provide a really good product and service, and it is valuable. Tenants thank you for it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. All right, and then the final thing today then is it true that all landlords are selling up? I'll be honest with you, a lot are. The Times claim 93,000 landlords are selling up in 2025. I know quite a few landlords that are selling because I've sold their houses for them. However, every single house I've sold this year on behalf of one of my clients has gone to another landlord, typically a younger breed of landlord in their 30s and 40s. So I think it's a bit of a myth. What do you think?
Well, the number of landlords that are selling up is a fact. We know.
No, but they kind of pitch it that like they're just leaving and all landlords are disappearing.
Well, there will be more rental property in 10 years than there is today. So
definitely.
That's not correct. Now, how many I think there might be fewer landlords who own more property. The day of the landlord who's got one house or two houses, self-manages, puts up
or the accidental
landlord. The accidental landlord, probably over. Every property that comes void at the moment, 25% of those landlords say they want to sell. That's of course, as a letting agent, we track that. Now, we have a conversation with every single one of those landlords. Adam will get some of those properties to resell, and they always go to another landlord. Yeah. Usually that landlord's got more than one house now. And
quite often it's already a landlord who's got houses with us.
Some of the landlords, and this is what I'd encourage anybody to look at, and some of those landlords that say they want to sell, and they want to sell because they have the wrong mortgage rate, they haven't put their rent up right.
Well, they had a maintenance bill last year and it stressed them out.
Correct. But what I'd urge them all to do is say, okay, let's have a sensible look at this. You've owned this property for 5, 10 years, whatever it is. It's made this much in capital growth. You're remembering that really big maintenance bill 2 months ago. But look at all the maintenance over the 10 years. It's way under average. Your rents you haven't got any voids in that period.
10 years worth of rent.
Yeah. And look what that's made. You've got something in your head that you think, I just want to get out. I want to probably, I've got some good money there and I want to spend it. That's
to be honest with you.
Holiday car.
I'll say this, if you are a landlord that wants to sell, come and talk to me. I'll sell your house for you.
No, I'm going to persuade you not to. Have a look at it and say, okay, on cold hard numbers, absolutely written down, where else could I have made that return in that period of time? And landlords who want to sell, quite often when we have that conversation, turn their mind around to say, not only do I not want to sell, I'm going to refinance that property, or I've got some other money in the business, I'm going to buy more of the same thing because I couldn't find anything better. And if you have a sensible conversation with all the numbers written down, that's more often than not the conclusion.
Okay then, so today's hot take.
Summarising all that up, buy-to-let is very much alive and well. The days of the accidental landlord are probably over. Time for the portfolio landlord to come to the front. And so long as you've got the right house in the right area, you keep your rents at the right level, the mortgage is controlled, you manage everything well, there's no safer place to put your money in 2025 for the next 10 years, I don't believe.
Yeah.
I'm all in, I'm doing it, I'm refinancing my portfolio, I'm keeping going. So my days aren't dead.
Okay.
I don't think yours are either.
All right, great. Well, if you've enjoyed that video, if you've taken something from it, please like and subscribe. Please also, if you want to, put a comment down below. Tell us what your thoughts are. Is buy-to-let dead in 2025? And if you would like to join us on our upcoming webinar, there is a link below in the description. Or you could just, book a call, come and talk to one of my team. But thanks for watching.
Brilliant. Join the community. See you soon. Bye now.